I created a slideshow to help people get some information so they can write down some information to hopefully look further into health insurance for their pets. And the first slide I thought would be important is, why should you buy pet insurance? First of all, it takes a financial decision out of a stressful time. A lot of times when you're at the vet, they'll come in and they'll come in with something that's really catastrophic and say, well, the options are surgery or long-term treatment for a chronic illness like cancer. And when you have to think about the cash part of it and what it's going to cost you first, a lot of times your decisions might be different. It actually avoids what we call the economic euthanasia, where if an older dog has an illness, you might consider euthanasia instead of doing what would give a prolonged life for your dog. And then there's also the puppy issues too. You get a brand new puppy and they chew your shoe and instant surgery. So it's really it's something you're paying for, but you really get a good feeling about it if you don't have to worry about the financial end. Also, there's now treatments that are available that used to be for humans that are for humans that are available for dogs now, such as MRIs, ultrasound, radiology, chemotherapy, stem cells, and there's even, you can have an eye lens replaced with an ophthalmologist that specializes in canines. We even have a relative that was told that they could get a pacemaker for their Westie who's 10 years old, and they estimated the cost of around $6,000. Since insurance is available too and people are using it, they might also have better treatments to come along for dogs because people were actually using those treatments instead of just saying they're too expensive. Also, emergency surgery can be costly. It can happen anytime, any age, and usually when you can least afford it. And while it sounds very good, people say they set aside money for their pet's medical needs. Well, chances are that people aren't doing it. It becomes a new TV set that they need for the home, or a new snowblower this time of year. But that's why insurance is so great to have. But is it really worth the cost? Generally, if you have a healthy dog that never has an emergency situation any time in their life, it probably is not worth the cost. But chances are you are going to have a surgery sometime or another. And you have to ask yourself, would a vet bill of over $1,500, $2,000 really affect your family's financial position? And do you even have access to funds for $5,000 up to $10,000 in an emergency if you need it? And the next question you would ask, would you take advantage of advanced levels of medicine to save your dog? If you had chemotherapy available, would you even go that route unless you had insurance? And this is a good one. Is your dog prone to accidents or injuries? Puppies swallow things. There's escape artists that get out of the fence and are running through the neighborhood. There's breed-specific injuries. For instance, German Shepherds and Golden Retrievers are prone to hip dysplasia. And those surgeries are usually $3,000 for each side. You could actually have 2 hip dysplasia surgeries for over $6,000. Next thing I wanted to tell you is pet insurance is a business. They're out there to make money, and that's why there's so many companies in the business right now, and they know what they're doing. So, you want to be aware of the situation there. But generally, insurance is not thought of a way to save money. It's really a hedge against a catastrophic incident that could really hurt your finances. Companies are savvy, these insurance companies, and they know the possibilities and risks of every breed along with the mortality of each breed, so they have that figured in their cost. Generally, the younger the dog, the lower the cost is. I'd like to show you, I didn't want to go there yet, but some of the costs of the procedures are bloat surgery, which can be anywhere between $2,500 and $5,000. A torn ligament, $1,600 to $7,000, depending where you go. Just surgery for a for an object in the belly is $1,500 plus. A broken leg can even be $1,500 plus. So, as you can see, it's not cheap to have an emergency procedure on your pet. Here's where to go for some information. There's, you can check the top. These are the top 5 insurance companies that I researched through consumersadvocate.com. Consumers Advocate is sort of like, Consumer Reports, and they rank the companies. And this is a 2014 report, and they're saying Healthy Paws is number 1, Pet Plan is number 2, Embrace is number 3, Trupanion is number 4, and Pets Best is number 5. They actually have 10, but I just listed the top 5 here. And if you want to look at those websites, feel free to. You can write those companies' names down. But overall, let's see here. I gave you 3 websites here. So if you want to write these down, where to go for information, PetInsuranceUniversity.com. And notice there's a dash between pet insurance and in between university there. That's a great place because it goes through a whole process determining whether you can afford insurance, and then it'll also help you determine what things you should look for in your insurance. Consumers Advocate is what I just showed you. You can go in there and see how they rank the companies and why they ranked them as high as they did. And the following one I have here is Pet Insurance Review, and that's where you can look at several companies and compare each of the insurance policies side by side, so you can see which one would be the best one for you. And how to buy the best plan that fits your budget. Research, research, and more research. You can make a list of what you need in a plan first. Just say, this is what I'm really looking for. You might want to ask, is there holistic care that's important to you? Or physical therapy, or some other condition that might be, something that might be different. It might be a little more holistic than what a general policy would cover. Search the web and make sure that if you're searching the web, just make sure you look at the date of the article because it's changing that fast. If you get something from 4 years ago, it might not be relevant to today. Ask your friends what they have and how it works for them. And also at work, even in the cafeteria plans they have now, a lot of the plans offer pet insurance that you can actually select as part of your coverage. And those are generally discounted plans, so you can do a little bit better if you can get it through work. Next one is read the fine print. Once you decide on a plan, make sure you look and read all the fine print. Inside there, you might see if there's a waiting period before you actually become active in the policy. You have to see if there's coverage in all states if you travel. You have to look at maximum payouts per procedure. You have to look at see if there's a usury rate, or do they pay for the total fee charged by the vet. You have to look at breed specifications. Sometimes they disallow some breeds. Does it cover all procedures? Is a physical exam required? Are there co-pays? Does it accept pre-existing conditions? And does it cover a pet, if it's treated and then unfortunately passes away? Those are all things you have to look for and make sure that your company carries those things. And at least consider a catastrophic plan that would cover an emergency, say over $1,000 or $2,000, that you have to pay the first, deductible of that amount, and at least cover something for over that.